What's up, fellas? It's your old buddy Lon here. So, as anyone knows, I got the Mavic 4 Pro. And I haven't made one of these videos in a long time, but I thought, what the hell. I got some accessories for it and whatnot. I thought I'd go over them real quick. If anybody's interested, great. And if you're not, that's cool. But anyway, I haven't seen a lot of videos about the electronic ND filter. So I'm like, well, let me, at least mention it real quick. Even though it's not available, it might be available later, and maybe someone will see this video and, they'll come out with it or a revised version, and, maybe that'll change the game. So at any rate, here's some of the accessories that I got for the Mavic 4 Pro and the Mavic 4 Pro itself, of course, right? Long story short, I'm going to start with a controller. I know, I should probably start with the electronic ND. I'm going to start with a controller just to get it out of my way. So on the controller, I got a tempered screen protector, okay? Which I thought, why not, right? It's a $1,200 controller. What I also did too was LiftThor makes a lanyard kit that places a lanyard pivot area more towards the middle, right? And I almost bought it, but it's like 80 bucks for the stupid lanyard kit, which is okay, but then it's like 40 or 50 bucks to ship it from Norway. And I called Tor and I said, man, I'm sorry, man. Anyway, though, I modified my old lanyard kit from my RC Pro to make it fit the RC Pro 2. So, ta-da! So, almost free. And, the kit, if anybody's ever got LiftThor, it comes with a decent lanyard, everything necessary, and it makes it balance a lot better now. It's still not perfect, but it's way better. I also got shorter sticks. I didn't like the super long sticks that come with the RC Pro 2, so I got shorter sticks. I find it more comfortable. Some people run them without sticks at all. They're not going to run it without sticks on this one because the gimbal mount, or the stick mount, is recessed in the gimbal. So I don't know if you can see that. But at any rate, that would make it really difficult to try to operate this without sticks at all. But at any rate, so RC Pro 2, I modified my LiftThor kit for the RC Pro, screen protector, and shorter sticks. Okay. All right, so as far as the drone itself goes, I almost got a different gimbal guard, but I'm getting used to this one. It isn't that bad. As far as gimbal guard and prop holders go from DJI, this one isn't bad. It's pretty easy to put on and take off. So far, I'm letting it go. Okay. Right now, what do I have on it? Right now, I have one of the Freewells on it. Yeah, I know. It's gonna start snowing in hell any day now. I got Freewell filters. They use a split filter design. I don't know if I agree with it 100% because I think they go a little overboard. I mean, the main camera, if it's a 4, they make the secondary cameras an 8. I'm not sure that you need 3 stops of difference between the main camera and the secondary cameras. DJI says you don't have to worry about it. On their filters, they said it's not enough difference to make sense. And with variable aperture on the main camera, you could technically, if you're going to use the secondary cameras a lot, set your exposure for the secondary cameras, and then just make your main camera match using the aperture control, and just lock your aperture in to whatever it needs to be to match the secondary cameras, and away you go. Then all your footage will match from an exposure standpoint. And that's makes sense to me. But, I went ahead and got these anyway because, number one, I got them for like 50 bucks. And number two, they're a lot lighter than either the Start RCs, which I also got. Sky was nice enough to send these to me. Now, this kit is okay, but it does an 8, 64, 32, and a CPL, which I'm glad I didn't buy it. No offense, Sky. You guys make really good products in a lot of categories. And these filters aren't bad per se, but, you know, I don't like that number skip. You know what I mean? You know, 32, 8, 32, 64, and then a CPL. I thought that was a little bit kind of skippy, if that's even a word. And then last but not least, or not last actually, there's one more thing. Let me skip that. Okay, so second to last, and kind of least actually, I got prop guards for the drone. People on Facebook would know this. I ordered these from AliExpress. And they took like forever to get here. And if I could get frequent flyer miles on packages, I'd be on my way to Aruba for free right now, because these bad boys have been all over the world and all over the United States. It's insane. Once they hit USPS, they went everywhere, all over to Texas, to Illinois, to Ohio, back to Illinois, to Indiana. I mean, it was insane. They hit Michigan twice within 10 miles of my house, and then flew away again. It was crazy. But anyway, I finally got them. They were $2.60 shipped. I am not joking. $2.60 shipped. They seem fine. I clipped them on. I haven't actually technically used them. Prop guards are one of those things that I buy and I very rarely use, but it's like carrying a condom around in your wallet, right? You don't think you're going to need it necessarily, but you know, you'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, kind of thing. So I always get prop guards just in case I ever decide I need them for some reason. Oh, and I also got a spare battery. I also got that from AliExpress. That showed up right away. I got that within like a week or so. And I got it for like $186 or something like that, which is actually under retail for this battery. And it's the actual battery. Put it in the drone, put it in the charger, works perfectly fine. So, you know, I don't know if I need 4 batteries, but yeah, I don't know. Why not? That's what I say. Why not? So anyway, so I got a spare battery. I guess I'll go over this. I'll probably talk about the case I got too briefly. I have 2 cases actually. The electronic ND filter. Okay. It's cool. You know, let there be no mistake. It's really cool. The positives about it is obviously it's one of these items you can just throw on the drone. You're done, right? Theoretically, you never have to do anything else. You just throw it on the drone and it'll always work. If you're at darkest night, it only goes down to ND2, I believe, or it probably says right on there, ND4 rather. It only goes down to ND4. So in some instances, you might want to take it off at night and put the clear back on. Great. One of the other positives that no one's talking about because nobody really reviewed this thing is that if you switch cameras, it'll change the ND based on what camera you're using, right? It'll change the ND value. So if you're on the main camera at ND 32, let's say, and you change to one of the telephoto lenses, cameras, the ND filter will change to ND 16 or ND 8 or whatever is required, or ND 20, quite frankly. There's no hard stops on this thing. It'll change based on whatever's necessary to match that particular lighting situation, okay? Which is cool. Let there be no mistake. And then you change back to the main camera, and it'll jump back to the correct ND level for that camera. So, or as lighting conditions change, the ND will change. If you have it on automatic. Now you can set it manually, of course, and you can set it for whatever you want manually, you know, as well. Now as far as negatives go, it's heavy. I don't have a gram scale, but I weighed it at work and it came in at just over 1/2 ounce, which in my mind makes it 14 to 15 grams. Now, in comparison, the Freewell ND filters and the DJI ND filters, the regular ones, only weigh 5 grams, okay? And the cover that comes with the drone, if I'm not mistaken, weighs like 3 or 4 grams. So that's significantly heavier. And I think it also brings about some of the issues that reviewers have had with the drone about its flight characteristics. I think it's because The ND filter is so heavy, it's like having the wide angle lens on. If anybody's ever done that with the Air 3 or Air 3S or whichever drone, once you put the wide angle lens on, or even the Mavic 2, once you put the wide angle lens on, it changes how the drone flies, because the drone has to compensate for that extra weight, and you don't want the drone flying in your camera dip, you know what I mean? You know, that dreaded gimbal drop, right? So it changes the characteristics and makes the drone fly a lot slower. In fact, if you have the camera pointed straight down with this on, it drastically changes your top speed. It's insane. You know, your top speed changes drastically. So that's one of the negatives, probably the negative, quite frankly, that caused DJI not to release this product, because they could just see the complaints. Now, I still use it most of the time. Actually, I only had the freewheel on because it was high wind. And there's another thing. If you got super high wind, it can cause your drone to fly slow or funny. It won't turn as fast. It makes it feel more like a, you know, a Lincoln Continental versus a Mustang. You know what I'm saying? It just makes it handle so much slower. But that's to spare your gimbal and to spare your footage. I mean, I don't want to sit there looking out for you or anything, but that's basically the situation. They change the characteristics to help keep your footage more smooth, if for lack of a better term. You know, and between these three brands and Polar Pro as well, who wins the case battle for NDs is DJI. They have the best case. It's insane. And the case for the electronic ND, just real briefly, it actually has space for the SD cards that you don't really need, right? But it has space for SD cards, and it's just nice. It's just a super nice case. But anyway, that's what the electronic ND looks like. Yoink. There we go. And yeah, and it works as an ND filter. There is some color shift if you like crank it up to 64 or whatever, or 50 something. It starts getting a little color shift. You know what I mean? But you know, for the convenience factor, if they can make it lighter, right? And maybe lose some of the color shift. I don't think you're ever going to lose all the color shift on a variable ND or an electronic ND. I don't think you're ever going to lose all the color shift. That would be in and of itself quite the feat, quite the engineering feat, quite frankly. And they'd have to use multiple glass elements to accomplish that. And I'm not sure that then you start looking at your weight situation. Okay, and it makes it more complicated. More complicated is more prone to failure, right? The more complicated something is, the more prone to failure it is. So, at any rate, so the electronic ND, if they can get it straight, you know, get their poop in a group, so to speak, this is going to be a great thing. And, you know, and they could also release a wide angle. They could work with it, because anyone that's seen this drone, it has 6 pins on the I can show you. 6 pins on the gimbal, or on the camera, that line up with whatever you're hooking up, and that'll signal the drone that you have the wide angle on, or maybe you have the polarizer. They could come out with a polarizing filter. And the problem with polarizing filters, anyone that's ever tried to use one, is you got to line it up, right? What if they had a polarizing filter that lined itself up? So if you're at, like again, if anybody's ever used one, you're trying to keep the horizon straight, you know, so you adjust your polarizer to keep your land and your sky separated, let's say. And let's say there's wind, sideways wind, so your drone's flying sideways, so you adjust your polarizer so that you don't have like a weird, you know, line of color across your sky. So you line it all up to make it just right, or you increase the value or decrease the value, you know, to get the level of polarization that you want. If the drone could do that internally, or if you could just slap a filter on the front that would adjust that for you, that would make polarizers a lot better for me. Using a polarizer on a land camera, on a tripod, is no big deal. Using it on a drone that's flying around, coming at it from different angles, you know, potentially the camera being at a different angle, and etc., that's a problem. On this drone, it's not as much of a problem because of the infinity gimbal. I'm talking in circles, so I apologize. The infinity gimbal, because one of the positive things about the infinity gimbal, by the way, is that because it can rotate so much, it can mitigate some of that. You know what I mean? But anyway, now, actually last but not least, and I don't know if I can get this in frame, so I'm going to pause here for 3 seconds. Let's see. And I got this Leica case. Now, the reason I went with this case is it's smaller. I like the foam better that Leica uses than a lot of the other brands. And it doesn't have 500 battery slots, okay? Some of these guys, like, no offense, Start RC, because I really like Sky. I correspond with them quite often. But man, I tell you what, some of these companies have gone hog wild on the number of battery slots. You know, I think the Start RC and maybe the FPV skis or Sky or whatever, theirs have like 9 battery slots. I mean, that's insane. Who the hell's running around with 9 batteries on their Mavic 4 Pro? You know what I mean? That's what? You know what I'm saying? If you're carrying a charger with you, you know, and within 2 batteries, you can charge 2. And that's where I'm at right now. Or even 3, you can charge 1. And if you keep them charged, you can pretty much fly indefinitely if you carry the, you know, the 240 watt charger with you. You know, there's no reason to carry around 20 batteries. You know what I'm saying? You're better off buying a power bank or something to carry around with you, because you can use that to charge other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I think that's going to cover it. I just wanted to go over, you know, a few things. I think the main thing was the electronic ND filter. I mean, a lot of people were asking about it at the beginning, and now it's kind of tapered off and people have forgotten about it. You know, and I don't blame them. You know, DJI didn't release it. I'm not sure they're ever going to release it. You know, people that have it got it, you know, given to them or sent to them as a promo. And some other people that have gotten it, they got lucky. You know, some guys in Shenzhen or whatever probably scooped them up from DJI or whatever. And, you know, so they kind of were selling them. I've seen a few of them sold for a couple $100, $300-400 in some websites. It's insane. But at any rate, you know, maybe they'll turn around. Maybe they'll find a way to lighten this up, or maybe, you know, a couple firmware updates down the road that can get the drone to not fly so slow, because it definitely affects the flight characteristics, and it also affects how much tilt you can put on the gimbal with the filter on. The drone will caution you, you know, if you're trying to do too much with this heavy filter on the front. So, at any rate, fellas, it's getting a little bit long there, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Just wanted to make a video. I haven't made a video like this in years. And yeah, you guys take her easy. Keep flying. Keep your heads on straight. You know, try not to worry about things too much. Just get out there and fly and have a good time. All right? Peace.